For happen momentarily.
Hello and welcome to the show. This is Super Happy Dragon Lucky episode 0x9c, or the 157th episode of the show. Quick reminder that nothing on this show is financial advice. And typically you've got Joe Roets on here, but my name's Dave, so I'll be hosting Super Happy today and filling in while Joe is out today doing stuff. Stay tuned after the updates. We have a full AMA today. I'm going to answer whatever I can, and then Joe will pop in to answer in the feed. Everybody who asks a question will receive one Dragonchain lot, regardless of whether I answer the question. So go do it. You've got until I refresh the screen here in a minute to get them in if you haven't asked yet. So today we've got the next iteration of number go up. And what we've picked out is the Monero transactions. So it looks like Monero usage has gone up. The chart you've got on the screen there is from June. I don't think Monero.com has tabulated the July transactions yet, so that'll be interesting to see where that goes. But it does look like the usage is up from Monero for privacy stuff in general. I see a lot of interest still. So that number has definitely gone up, and if you're interested in it, you should go check it out. On to Dragonchain Updates. We have a capability brief over on the Dragonchain blog that was published yesterday about energy usage and tracking with Dragonchain. It's kind of high level about tracking and accounting and climate data. If you've read if you've been keeping up with the blog, you'll have seen some of the capability briefs about ESG products and how the scalability of the platform actually improves with use. So the more you use it, the more environmentally friendly it becomes, in addition to being hosted by default in carbon neutral facilities. So there's a bunch of good stuff in there, very relevant to stuff that's going on in the world today, both with Dragonchain and just everything else as well. So check out and do follow the Dragonchain blog, because that's where you're going to get a lot of insight into what's possible with the platform. All right, so the big update we've got today is that the first iteration of the new Dragonchain core is in place. If you've been following along, you'll know that there has been some updates being worked on to, I guess, I don't know, just to facilitate things that are discovered along the way that could be improved, or things that customers or partners have wanted implemented, and things that there was an opportunity recently to implement some things during a particular development cycle. So that has been done, and the very first deployment was Den.social. So Den is on the new core that has been deployed into the new Dragonchain core, and it didn't have any issues. The Den team migrated all of the Den blockchain into the new platform last week with no issues. So that's awesome. Speaking of Den, let's give some Den.social updates. We have an LCP cycle that's starting. So the August 22 LCP proposal phase starts today. So if you have an idea for a really good layer community that you maybe already have that you'd like to bring into Den, you can propose that in the LCP layer. You can propose your layer. Double check that it doesn't already exist. I know that sometimes you'll there's like 100 and something of the proposals. So if you check the LCP section, you might see that what you want already exists, and you can just throw in with that crew to make it bigger and better. And you won't have duplicates if you check that first. To do that, and per a DENDAO vote, the winners are going to be the #1 layer proposal as ranked by unique voter, and then the number 5 and 13 as ranked by lore committed. So as a reminder, you can vote with however much lore you get, which is something that you get just by using Den. If you start using it, you'll notice that over time you start having lore. And that comes out of the auto staking mechanisms that we've got, where you sort of farm the lore that you then get to use to vote on the new layers that come out every month, and everybody gets to participate. So check your balance. You might have some. You do have some. And then once the committal phase comes around, you can use them to vote on new layers. So that right now we're in the proposal phase. So that'll run for a week. Make sure your proposal is not a duplicate, and they should all be entered by next Monday, August 8th. The commitment phase will start next Tuesday at 1400 UTC, or 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern. More about Den. The coffee show had its last episode in the Den layer. I'm going to relaunch on the 17th of August with a new layer. And everybody who has been participating along the way, whether you've been leaving comments or topics for us to talk about, whether you've popped in to chat with the hosts, or whether you've just been talking to us in YouTube chat even. I know Lisa Davis always pops into YouTube chat to make sure I know where the buttons are when I have the when I try to share audio and I can't figure out how to do that. So I'm going through and I'm tabulating everyone's input, and I'm crediting you with ownership of the show. So when we relaunch in our own layer, it'll be just a coffee with Den layer, and you'll be one of the owners. And that's awesome. So it'll be the same time. It'll be 9 a.m. Eastern or 6 Pacific. If you're an early bird on the West Coast, you can join us anytime. DENDAO meetings. These are live calls. They're not a show, so you don't have to worry about being entertaining or anything like that. It's a governance call, and you can come in, turn your camera off if you don't want to be seen. That's fine. And it happens every Thursday at noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, or 7 p.m. UTC. The post will be in the DENDAO layer for the agenda and a link to join live. Yeah, and come on in and talk to us. Typically, that's going to be stuff that's more development related. You know, it might be boring, but it's one of the more important things, which is keeping just keeping a how do I even say that? All we're doing is having a public meeting so that everyone can participate. It's a DAO, and so everybody can show up and participate and vote on which way they want the ship to be steered. And that's kind of what that meeting's all about. We have an update on World Blockchain Roundtable. Episode 62 will be on Thursday. The topic's going to be crypto market manipulation. So do go leave a question or a subject to discuss, and you'll get rewarded for that. You'll get ownership in WBRT. I'm kind of copying that model for the new coffee layer too. That's where I got the idea of issuing ownership as people participated. So that's my inspiration. Go check it out to see where it came from and leave your questions. If you didn't catch last week's episode, or you haven't shared that episode yet, the subject last week was the pitfalls of celebrity shilling. And the more views that it gets in its first week, the more lot all the participants will get. So if you haven't seen it or you haven't shared it, go do that. Give it a share. Yeah, especially if you asked a question that got hit. I think we got all the questions last week too. So if you asked one of the questions last week that got covered on the episode, definitely be sure to share that around, because the more views that we get, the more a lot you as a contributor will get, because it's based on those view numbers. And just a reminder, that's at 3 p.m. UTC on Thursdays. It's 11 o'clock a.m. Florida time, for reference there. All right, so we're going to be right back. We're going to go through the AMA, and I'll talk at you some more right after this.
The internet is broken. Business models and site design are entirely geared toward advertising and not the reader. On today's internet, advertisements are distracting, invasive, and overwhelming. In Den, the primary objective is quality content. Instead of ads, you may occasionally see a boosted post where a user has risked value to increase its visibility. Just like any other post, you can upvote or downvote to help evaluate the relevance to your community. The more engagement a boosted post gets, the less the booster pays. Depending on the evaluation process, a booster can get up to 85% of their money back, if the post is well targeted and engaging. In Den, quality content is the primary objective.
All right, welcome back to Super Happy. Let's do an AMA. Now, just a quick reminder, if you've seen me around, you'll know already that I basically just obsess about Den. So there's some Dragonchain specific stuff that I'm not knowledgeable about that I won't be able to answer, but I'll answer what I can. And then Joe's going to come in and answer in the comments as well. So you should still get your answers there, even if I can't. The first one that we've got here is from Spanzel, who asks, what can you tell us about ClimateChain, the Artemis project? Well, I can tell you that I've seen some stuff published publicly, and that's all I know. I know it exists. I know it's being worked on. I know that there's progress being made, and occasionally there will be updates from that team. And unfortunately, that's all I got for you. Maybe Joe can pop in and give you more than that. But I've seen some stuff floating around Den. I've seen some stuff on, just from Artemis project or from ClimateChain that that says what it says, and so that's all I can say. I'm sorry that I can't give you more, but that's what I got. The next question is Barbara Rafiq. VitalikButerin claims that Ethereum will be able to process 100,000 transactions per second. Cool. Dragonchain Dragonchain ever achieve this number? Have any plans? Yeah, today we could do that today. Dragonchain can do that today. No problem there. So I can answer that with a yes. In fact, it's in place. I don't think that it's a future leaning question. It's more of a currently capable situation. And then Ethereum versus Dragonchain. Your thoughts? Thanks, Joe. I don't think Ethereum versus Dragonchain is as good of a way to frame it as Ethereum and Dragonchain. I think that we can all work together instead of being at each other's throats and being competitive. Competitive is great, but it doesn't have to be against each other. I think we work pretty harmoniously together. At least that's what I've seen with Den, because everything on Den is Ethereum and arguably Bitcoin, depending on how you look at it. So yeah, Ethereum and Dragon. Next, K-Taps. Can you give us an update as to what Dr. Al and DRGN have been working on since last year when he was on Super Happy a few times? And could you show a demo of what you guys built since then and what is being used? Yeah, I guess it has been a minute. Dr. Al did some cool stuff, some demos himself with the technology that he has invented, I guess. I don't personally have any updates. Maybe Joe does. But it's implemented. It's part of Dragonchain now, and it's available. So if people, as we get customers that need it, it'll be there. So I think it's probably, I can't even comment on what it's being used for right now, because I don't want to say too much or too little. So I'll leave that up to Joe. I don't personally have anything to say about that today, except for I think that Dr. Al's work is important and awesome, and we're lucky to have we're lucky to have them. Jacob Wayne, are there any technical limitations to adding Polygon to the list of blockchain that Dragon sits on, or does it seem to be all positive and beneficial? There are no technical limitations. It's just a matter of it's not a matter of anything really. There's nothing stopping it, and there's nothing detrimental. Yeah, it's something as soon as we need it, it's there. Unless I'm misreading the question. No, I don't think there's any technical limitations at all for that. Agent B, does DragonNet still have 5-second blocks? That's a good question. I don't know. Maybe. It's been a long time since I personally dug into block time and stuff on DragonNet, but I haven't. I don't have any reason to believe that it's changed. So maybe even less than 5 seconds, if I'm being honest. So I don't know. I'll ask Joe to pop in and answer that whenever he goes through. But thanks for asking. Huddle, did KuCoin respond about delisting? Don't know. I don't think so. But I did look this morning because I hadn't thought about this in a while. But I looked and noticed that there's somebody had brought up. I think the only reason that it was even brought up is because there was like an ST tag put on the thing on their exchange. But that's all them. But I did notice that it's on the app and it's not on the website. I dug in all around the website and couldn't find it. So I don't know. Maybe you can. But I don't have any updates on that, except that I don't know if it used to be on the website and now it's not. I don't follow that stuff as much as the stuff I like. So I'm not a trader, so I don't pay attention to that as much. Sorry if I don't have a better answer, but I don't know. So there we go. Half of my answers were I don't know. And the other half, and Joe will have to answer him. So that's what I got there. Thanks for chiming in. All right, so let's see here. We have so every month we typically have a different merch deal with Dragonchain merch. Factor merch is on sale right now. So if you use the promo code Factor Merch 2022, that's all lowercase with dashes between the words and the numbers and stuff there, and all one word otherwise, you'll get 10% off of all Factor merch until August 31st. So go check that out. I think that's one of my favorite designs, and I don't have any Dragon or any Factor merch. I like the logo a lot, though, so I might have to go take advantage of that. I didn't know that was on sale until I stepped in to do this show today. So check that out. There's looks like we've got a couple of different options for t-shirts. There's a couple of mugs, and I like them. You might like them. If you do, go get them. And in closing, I'll just say to watch Super Happy Dragon Lucky next Tuesday. That should be after, that'll be after the proposals for new layers are over. We can start talking about voting on them again at that point. And we'll see what people have put in. And follow Dragonchain and Real Denizens and Jojo Row. Like, comment, and share so people know what's going on. This is a weekly, 3 years and strong weekly update show. So this is where to get them. And that is all I've got for you today. Pretty short and sweet. And I hope it's, I hope you're short and sweet. I don't know. Have a good day.
Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best. Adaptable, all capital, label radical yet rational. A doctrinal approach is palpable if this animal is fallible. But that conclusion is laughable, so with for all detachable from the mandible, you see it now.